on the unceded traditional territories of the Coast Salish nations of Musqueam, Squamish, and Tsleil-Waututh.
From the Broadcast Center at BCIT's Burnaby Campus, this is All Talk Radio. You're listening to 1680 The Crow.
Hello, I'm Melanie Levesque, and this is news on 1680 The Crow. Winter weather is arriving, and many parts of BC are affected, especially roads. Yesterday's snowy weather led to a fatality in a car crash on the Coquihalla Highway. The driver was traveling southbound when it crossed into traffic and collided with a semi-truck. Dangerous weather was also present in Kamloops, leading to cars sliding down a road and losing traction. Communities were also impacted by the weather when thousands lost power this morning on Vancouver Island. Environment Canada has warned of possible flooding today in areas such as Victoria and Boundary Bay. Avalanche Canada has labeled mountain regions as very dangerous due to weather conditions and is warning against unnecessary travel to potentially hazardous areas. Colder temperatures expected this weekend in the Lower Mainland will also have negative impacts on blooming cycle flowers and plants. Our reporter Ugaloy Sivanova found out more about the origin of flowers.
Spring flowers have been blooming across Vancouver due to the warm and dry weather. Plants like witch hazel, daffodils, cherry trees are non-native and come from Japan, China, and Western Asia. Douglas Justice, Associate Director at UBC Botanical Gardens, says flowers and plants' growth cycle will be disrupted.
In Vancouver, if we have minus 10 degrees, that can do some damage. If we have minus 15 degrees, actually kill the branches on which the flowers are born, and so that can do a lot of damage.
The cold weather is expected to last only a week. I'm Ugaloy Sivanova for BCIT The Crow.
Premier David Eby says the BC government is setting a goal to eliminate deadly cervical cancer with at-home screening options. Starting January 29th, those eligible will be able to order a test kit to screen for the HPV virus, which is the cause of 99% of cervical cancer cases. After the test is mailed to a lab, results will be ready in 4 to 6 weeks, and the patient can then seek help from a doctor or clinic if needed. Cervical cancer rates are increasing nationally, but officials say this is preventable with the help of screening and vaccines. People and businesses across British Columbia have become increasingly concerned about rising crime rates in the region. Our reporter Riley Long talked to the co-founder of Provincial Safety Coalition how about the crime rates are affecting local businesses.
Property and violent crimes have been at an all-time high, with Vancouver seeing a 1.6% increase in violent crimes and an 8.5% increase in property crimes in 2023. The Save Our Streets Coalition has been demanding the government to take action on the crisis. Jess Ketchum, who is the co-founder and spokesperson for the SOS Coalition, relays concerns from the businesses.
Important to understand that just retail business alone in BC, they're spending so much more on security and on the cost of insurance that they have to raise their prices to recoup some of those costs.
Not only businesses are at risk, residents are also expressing concerns. Riley Lung, BCIT The Crow.
Several restaurants across the Lower Mainland are opting to use automated systems instead of human servers. BCIT reporter Kevin Pontus investigated whether or not servers should be concerned about this novelty.
Robotic systems are on the rise in restaurants throughout the Lower Mainland. This novelty is becoming more popular in restaurants as our culture becomes more intertwined with technology. But what does this mean for the future of servers? Chris Georges is a local server who gave us his take on the rise of robotic systems in the industry.
There's certain aspects of society and our culture that I like, about serving. You go around and you're personable with your tables. The servers are, they got a smile on their face. They're asking you how your day was. Some of it is fake, sure, but a lot of it is genuine.
At least for now, robotics in restaurants are still a novel attraction, and demand for servers remain very high in Vancouver. Kevin Pontius, 1680, The Crow.
Kevin joins us now in studio. How are you, Kevin?
I'm very well. How are you doing?
Good. How are you?
Good.
So how common are these robotic restaurants in Vancouver?
So it was difficult to find hard data on exactly how many there was, but according to some research, I came up with at least 10 in Vancouver and North Vancouver combined.
Great. And should servers be concerned that these robots will take their jobs?
So I don't think so, not yet. It's more of a novelty. It's kind of a fun, different thing. It's not coming for service jobs. So no, I would say they don't have to worry about it yet. A statement from Work BC said that there's 8,900 jobs across the province for people in the service industry. So no, definitely not.
Great. Thanks, Kevin.
Thanks for having me.
A man in Burnaby is starting the new year with a goal of keeping the streets and parks free from litter. Our reporter Sebastian Arcanaba has more on how this local hero is taking action and setting an example for the community.
Martin Kendall has been picking up litter from the streets since 2021. He says it all started when he got tired of seeing trash around the playgrounds where his kids play. Ever since, Kendall has set an annual goal. Last year, he picked up 600 pounds of garbage and over 350 face masks. He says this year his campaign will be rebranded.
I am going to expand it though, that wherever I am in the world, like for example, I'm going to Calgary next week, I'm going to be picking up some garbage there. If I go to Parksville during the summer, I'm going to pick up some garbage there. So the idea is just that I'm not doing it in Burnaby city limits, I'm doing it wherever I go.
Kendall is encouraging everyone to take action. He says the amount of garbage collected doesn't matter. What it does is what we all do to keep the streets clean. Sebastián Arancibia, BCIT The Crow.
After a month-long teacher strike, students will return to schools in Quebec today. Jennifer Zimmerman, a parent of 3 school-aged daughters, says she will be keeping an eye out as the government announces a catch-up plan today.
We're also happy to be back to class, but there's still so much uncertainty. We don't actually know what the details of the agreement were, so I think we're all, trusting in our government that they've reached a fair resolution.
Students at nearly 800 schools in the province have not been in the classroom since November 23rd. During this time, Quebec's public schools lost class days as teachers participated in several temporary strikes. Now for weather. Right now it is 7 degrees and mostly cloudy in Vancouver. Tomorrow, rain is expected. Throughout the week, rain and snow are forecasted with a high of 6 degrees and a low of -3.
Everything is changing to digital. Everything is online. People aren't just waiting for the 6 o'clock news anymore. People want their news right now. They want to be able to go onto their smartphone, onto the internet, and see the news that they want to see.
Vancouver is growing at, a really rapid rate, the Lower Mainland even, and with the tools that we're given here, we're able to cover all of that.
Welcome to BCIT Magazine. I'm Radhika Sikki-King.
In the program, they really leave it up to you. I mean, the help is there when you need it, figuring out how to use the programs like Premiere, Audition, and figuring out how to use the cameras. But it's up to you to sort of experiment and figure out what you can do when you go out in the field.
They brought candles and flowers to remember the student who lost her life yesterday.
Theresa May says the international community condemns Moscow.
They really make sure that you know the basics and you are able to put out a quality product.
I'm Brady Tretanero.
And I'm Radhika Sikki-King. Thank you for tuning in to BCIT Magazine.
This is sports on 1680 The Crow.
Now for sports. Canadian Benedict Mathurin scored 26 points, including the winning 3 free throws, with less than a second left on the clock. This allowed the Indiana Pacers to beat the Boston Celtics 133-131. Here's the call as he makes a free throw in the fourth quarter.
Mathurin shoots 3. He is 3 of 4 in this game, and now 4 of 5. Well, whether this team wins or loses, 99% of the time you're getting your money's worth if you come out here.
The team managed to win without their all-star point guard, Tyrese Haliburton, who could not play due to an injury. Ryan Gauld, midfielder for the Vancouver Whitecaps, says that no matter if the club signs players, he trusts that the team will have a successful season. He says that players departing is a normal part of the season in pro soccer and that this year is no different than other years.
No matter what happens with people coming and going, we'll have a strong team because, you know, all the boys that are under contract and here at the moment, we're all, you know, familiar with each other and we're all, you know, wanting to do better than what we done last year.
Gauld is entering his contract's final year, but he says he is discussing an extension with his team. Whitecaps head coach Vanni Sartani says he's also confident in the ability of his team.
In a month, like let's say at the game against Tigres on the 7th, I think we will have at least a couple of players more. The club is actively working to only fix the little things that we ask in order to add players to the roster.
The Vancouver Whitecaps are starting their presentation this week. Budgeting and travel issues are causing some of Ontario's provincial sports organizations to step away from the 2024 Ontario Games. As of now, alpine skiing, paranordic skiing, and weightlifting have all been removed from the Games. A spokesperson for the Games promised to publish a statement on the matter by January 2nd, but no such statement has been released yet. That's all for today's news. I'm Melanie Levesque, and this is 1680 The Crow.
Stay tuned for more on BCIT's 1680 The Crow.
I'm Ben Bugera with BCIT's The Crow. Travelers on BC ferries could be in for long waits today as heavy winds are causing major delays on two major routes. Ferries announced the cancellation of both the 7 a.m. and 9 a.m. sailings from Tsawwassen and Swartz Bay, as well as the 10:15 sailing from Tsawwassen to Duke Point due to adverse weather conditions and high winds in the Strait of Georgia. With winds gusting up to 60 kilometers an hour in Tsawwassen this morning and into early this afternoon, BC Ferries is warning that more cancellations could occur if conditions don't improve. Passengers should continue to monitor the BC Ferries website for up-to-date information. As of now, flights out of YVR and seaplane services have not been affected. Ferries say they will continue to monitor the situation to make sure that vessels are able to leave the berths safely. More high wind systems are expected later this week on Thursday and Friday in Metro Vancouver, which could also adversely affect ferry traffic. Ben Bugera, BCIT's The Crow.
Everything is changing to digital. Everything is online. People aren't just waiting for the 6 o'clock news anymore. People want their news right now. They want to be able to go onto their smartphone, onto the internet, and see the news that they want to see.
Vancouver is growing at, a really rapid rate, the Lower Mainland even, and with the tools that we're given here, we're able to cover all of that.
Welcome to BCIT Magazine. I'm Radhika Sikki-King.
In the program, they really leave it up to you. I mean, the help is there when you need it, figuring out how to use the programs like Premiere, Audition, and figuring out how to use the cameras. But it's up to you to sort of experiment and figure out what you can do when you go out in the field.
They brought candles and flowers to remember the student who lost her life yesterday.
Theresa May says the international community condemns Moscow.
They really make sure that you know the basics and you are able to put out a quality product.
I'm Brady Tretanero.
And I'm Radhika Sikki-King. Thank you for tuning in to BCIT Magazine.